And you might let your eyes close here. And relaxing the physical body as much as possible. We'll work on that all through class. And then starting your more conscious breathing. So feeling the inhale come in through the nostrils, a little bit cooler. The exhale, if it's okay, through the nose, a little bit warmer of air coming out. And then drawing the breath longer and slower. So you want to get that feeling, inhaling, the chest rises, and then because the diaphragm's pushing down, the belly rises as well. And then exhale, maybe it's the opposite. So first the belly falls with an open chest, and then exhale, the chest can fall a little bit too. And then just continue this breath in the same way. Use it to bring yourself to the present moment. Inhaling and then exhale, grounding. So feeling the body parts touching the ground, touching any props, and feel your whole body supported. So if you're on your back, the whole back body being held by the ground. If you're seated, then your whole seat, part of the hips and legs. Noticing if there's anything swirling around in the mind, that's okay. Take a new inhale, come right to this moment. Exhale, let go of something. We're going to take just 2 more minutes here. This slow, conscious breathing is a challenge, just doing your best and bringing acceptance to what you are able to do today. Just asking into how you feel today. So that we'll take the whole practice as well to just ask ourselves, inquire, learn about the body, the mind, the spirit. So we'll take about 1 more minute of this breath work. And you're welcome to bring an intention to mind right here. Maybe something for yourself or for others. So take a few more breaths with this intention. Maybe your eyes are closed and you're focusing the inhale and exhale right here. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we're just setting our intention, finishing our initial opening for our class. Taking a few more breaths here. So then we'll come to our backs if you're not already there. And you can go ahead and roll off any props that are underneath of you. Just come back onto the back flat. You're welcome to bring knees in and rock side to side gently. Start to notice the hips and also the side body. So the side of the hips, the side of the waist. Just noticing anything there. We're going to get into that area in just a moment. Let's let go of the left leg, stretch it long, and just pull that right knee into the chest and then out to the side and down. Breathing a couple more breaths. And then bring it back to center. We'll switch sides, right leg long, left leg bent, and then pulling in, and then slowly bring it out to the side and pulling it down towards that left shoulder. 3 breaths. And then letting go, we're going to stretch out. Let's reach the arms back overhead, stretch the toes towards the front of the mat. Big stretch like you're waking up in the morning. And then let it go. So we're going to take our reclining half moon pose first. So I like to get into it, just bending the knees, feet to the ground. We'll scoot the hips to the right edge of the mat, let the legs fall back down. And then we're trying to create this C shape, which is kind of hard to show you on the Zoom screen. So let your left foot slide to the left, right follows, and maybe crossing ankle. And then arms can come overhead. Maybe you scoot shoulders a bit to the left. You want a long line all on that right side. So kind of like this. And kind of like that. And we're just starting to get into this. Notice any straining. Can you release with exhale breaths? Let your hips be square upon the earth. If your right hip's up a little, that's okay, but it shouldn't be that you're totally on the side. We want to feel a lot down this right side of the right hip, maybe even up the rib cage. Maybe even the right side of the right leg too. So we're getting into the gallbladder meridian, zigzagging across the side of the body. So the meridians are these lines of energy through the body, just like the blood vessels. Like if you see a chart of all the vessels and the way the blood circulates, it's similar to the chi or energy circulating through the channels to the whole body. So that's why we can put in a needle on the foot to help with a headache or shoulder pain. And then in this practice, we can affect the meridians with our intention, which is really our mental focus of what we want to achieve in the pose. Breathing in and out here. So breathe into that right side, wherever you feel this pretty strongly. And you'll visualize the breath going right to that area. So affecting this gallbladder channel by bringing fresh blood and energy to this very spot. Giving yourself plenty of time to allow the pose to happen, to unfold. It might take the whole 3, 4, 5 minutes to be able to be still here. That's okay. And the breath should be breathing the body. You don't have to manipulate the breathing, but you can if you need to take an extra deep inhale at times, or an extra exhale, extra forceful. That's always fine. It's actually, I encourage that, especially since you're just alone at home. You can roll around on the floor as much as you want, back in and out of poses, do different stuff. Just lie on the ground. Make this your practice. More than halfway through this one. Just a few more breaths here. What can you soften and relax? Can the shoulders let go a bit more? And the hips let go a bit more? I'm taking a few more breaths right here. So you can slowly release just in your own time, maybe just slowly bringing that right arm back alongside you, left arm alongside. You can uncross legs, and I'll just scoot my hips back to center to bring the spine to a neutral position. So just stretch out, just feeling this. And then let's do that big full body stretch again. So inhale, reaching the arms back behind you, toes reach forward. Then release. We're going to do the other side. So go ahead and let your hips scoot to the left corner or left edge of the mat. Legs relax, and then sliding right foot to the right corner, left follows. It doesn't have to go all the way to the corner, just that direction. Arms can come overhead. You might scoot shoulders right this time. I usually will hold on to a wrist just to keep my arms kind of in position. It just kind of feels a little more comforting like that. So it's up to you. You could have your arms like holding opposite elbows or just anything, crossing at the wrists. Starting to get into this left side, knowing that this is a new pose, very different than the first side. So just treating the two sides as two individual poses instead. Noticing how it starts as a stretch in the muscles. When these sensations go a bit deeper, we're getting into those connective tissues, fascia. Let your exhale release you from any tension, softening. And it's a surrender. Feeling the back body heavy on the earth. The front body more open, maybe more air on your skin that you can feel. You can always use any sensory information to bring yourself present. So if you're, for example, listening to music and just being in the moment as you breathe and practice, or any number of things, just sensation in the body is number one, the breath. Temperature, warm or cool. So the practice is cooling. You might notice that as you get towards the end, maybe needing a blanket. Beautiful. We'll take one more minute here. When you're ready, slowly coming out, you can release the arms and legs. Coming back to a neutral spine. Take a moment of rest here. Good. And then let's bring knees into the chest and then take knees apart. You can stay right here or happy baby, grabbing the outsides of the ankles or the feet. Just take a few breaths. We're not going to stay here long. Just feeling into the hips. If you want, you can rock side to side. And then just coming to the center, let's just take 10 breaths here. If this is too much, always letting your knees bend. You can even bring knees back together. Great, let's slowly let go, bringing the knees back in, give them one more hug, and then letting the feet drop to the ground. We're gonna roll over to the side and press up. So we were just getting into the hips a little bit. We're gonna take our swan pose next. So you might have a bolster to put under your chest or a pillow or a block to put under your right hip if you need that. So we'll start with the right side. I'm just gonna draw my right knee towards my right wrist. And I like to put my foot over to the side a little. And then scooting back so you can start coming down. So remember, this does have a variation on your back, and I'll show that in just a moment. If your hips way up, putting up a little pillow or rolled blanket or block can be great. And then when you're ready, so swan is the upright pose like this. Sleeping swan is when we come down. So you can stay up here if this is okay. I like to come down just to let my upper body totally relax. So coming down here. So your arms can just be beside you, very passive. Don't strain to hold your shoulders in place or anything. That's why I like a bolster here. I can just rest my chest and head. And if you don't come down this far, bring your bolster higher. You can bring it, stack it way up. You can make it diagonal like that. Just timing the pose. So sometimes I'll even bring my arms back behind me, kind of, or alongside, I mean. You can try it if you want. You don't have to. It helps me not hold tension in the shoulders. Oh yeah, and the back, on the back version, sorry. Flip it right over, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and then you pull that left leg in toward you. You want that knee to be pushing away a bit. If you can't reach the shin or thigh, just wrap a tie or a strap around that. It's the exact same pose, just flipped over. So we've been here at least a minute. We might start feeling a little shifts in the body. The shift from the superficial, young, muscular sensations to that deeper feeling. So I'll often describe it. It's a little similar to the feeling of acupuncture. You might feel dull achiness in the joint. You might feel a heaviness, warmth or cool sensation. There might be pulsing of energy, blood flow. Just no pain, no sharpness, no nerve shooting. Steady breathing here. So about 10 more breaths here. Three more here. Good, and then let's slowly come out, or come out slightly a different way. So we'll press down into the ground and lift. And then let's just roll onto the right hip, swing the left leg around, and we'll come onto the back this time for our rest. Closing your eyes, and can you be still for a few breaths and just feel anything going on in the right hip, any kind of release from that posture, any kind of increase in energetic feelings in that area. Just notice. And then you can stay here and rest a bit more, or you can bring knees in again. Maybe rock side to side. And if you'd like another happy baby, you can draw the knees apart or take the traditional one, holding feet. And then we'll let go, let the feet come to the ground, and we'll roll over again for the other side. So I'm going to go the other way this time. And I'm doing left leg. So from hands and knees, it's just the easiest way to get in. We'll bring that left knee forward, scooting right knee back a little, and then putting something under left hip if you need that. The side is different, that's okay. And then you're welcome to descend at any point and come down onto your props. So it also could happen that one side you're doing the sleeping swan, the other side you might have to roll on your back. So if that's the case, that's fine too. You'll cross your left ankle over right thigh and then pull the whole thing in towards you. And staying here. And I would like it if your head and shoulders are on the floor. If you're on your back, that is. So whichever variation, starting to breathe deep into the hips, letting go in the shoulders and arms. And if you do have questions during our practice, I should have mentioned this, but you can always type in the chat box and I'll address any questions. Maybe the eyes float closed. Where is this intense in your body? Where is it felt? It could be pretty deep in the hip socket. Just focusing right there, turning toward difficult sensations rather than away. About halfway through. What's your breath like? Hopefully pretty steady. And if not, just explore why. So maybe you're too deep here. Smooth out any of those jagged edges of the breath. About 10 more breaths here, those complete breath cycles. We're going to come out ever so slowly, so take your time. Bringing hands to the ground for support, you can lift up. And then we'll sit over on the left side, swing the right leg around, lying on the back once again. Close the eyes. Let go. Take your time getting here. If you're not here yet, no worries. We're just waiting for that initial sensation to pass. So when you come out of the pose, it's going to feel a little weird as the blood and chi flows back through the joints in a more smooth way than before. So I even feel like a little tingle on the left side. And then let's again bring knees to the chest. So obviously we're doing a hip class today. Let's do circles this time. So place one hand on each knee, and we have the knees in. We're going to bring them out and then around, away from us, and then together. So in, around, out, together, just with your breath. Next time we're in, we're going to reverse it. So we'll press the knees away, out and around, and then back towards us together. So push out, around, bring together. A couple more with your own breath. Good. One more. Awesome. Let's squeeze the knees in, breath in. Exhale, feet come down, we'll roll to the side. And we are going to take hands and knees next. So we're going to give the hips a break for just a moment. I'm going to put this over here. So hands and knees, we'll get into the back spine a little bit here. So we're taking heart melting pose. Pad your knees with a blanket if this is too much. And then walk hands forward. Breathe in and then out as you exhale. So head and chest are going towards the ground. Forehead or chin can come down, or chest, or maybe forehead. If that's not good for you, always an option to bring the bolster under your chest and head. So chin can be down, or you can gently turn your head sideways and your hips are staying up, stacked over the knees. So about 3 minutes here. If it becomes too much, as with any pose, you can back off or come out. And we're targeting the upper spine and the shoulders here. An opening in the chest, heart opening. Nice breaths here. Might be a little harder to take those full belly breaths. That's okay. So notice if you're tense in the jaw, can you release that? We're already halfway through, so it's just a minute and a half to go. See where you feel this right here. Could be the neck part of the spine, cervical spine. Back behind the heart or between shoulder blades, opening in the chest, opening in the shoulders. And just one more minute here. So let's press the palms down first and then start to bring the chest up, walking the hands back towards you, and then let's just lie on the belly. You can bring your arms alongside the body, turn the head to one direction. Right cheek or left cheek to the mat. It's a little passive neck stretch. And then moving further down the spine, we'll come into Sphinx pose. So slowly lift yourself up, propping on elbows. See where your feet land. Mine go almost mat width, so just noticing. You don't have to change where your feet went to. But if you want to go a little deeper in your low back, you can open the feet a little more. So upper body more open to the sky. The chest is open. The head is up. So just keep in mind, you don't want your eyes moving all around. That's a little anxiety inducing. So you can close the eyes or just gaze at a spot down. You can even drop the head if that's okay. You can put a block under the forehead. Different modifications for different bodies, different days. If you need a little more, you can take seal. So remember that sliding the hands apart and then elbows lift. So it might be down or coming a little straighter. And then for me, I just noticed that's a little too much. So I'm just going to come back down. So always listen to your body. Halfway through, see where you are now. So maybe you needed to come down. I've seen people actually come out of this pose and then just come back in after a little bit of rest. So it's an option too. It can be intense in the lower back here. It's really safe for the low back though, and it's so healthy to keep that lumbar curve of the spine. So obviously a curved line is more flexible, healthier than a straight line. more time here, about 10 breaths. Remember, use the breath. Inhale to that spot in the lower spine. Exhale, grounding, sinking into the earth. Nice. Another inhale here. On the exhale, let's slowly come all the way back down. You can turn your head the other direction than before. If you don't remember, that's okay. Just maybe you do both, one and then the other. Then you can let your feet or knees bend and do the windshield wiper motion. And then letting it go. Let's take one child's pose. So press hands under shoulders, look up and stretch back. Good. Let's slowly come all the way back onto the front of the body. You might bring along a blanket or little cushion if you have like a hard floor that you're on. We're going to take a half frog pose. So you can get into it by first coming to Sphinx, and then we'll bring the right knee out to the side. So it's bent like a frog leg. And we're thinking about knee going up towards the shoulder, but it definitely doesn't have to be anywhere close.
What?
Yep, it's so it is. Let's see, how do I show this? Like if my knee would be out to the side, I'm lying on my front. So let's see. Take your, how can you see this? Taking the knee out. Let me see if I can show it from this side. Yep, there we go, just like that. You could put a cushion under the chest if you want. We haven't done this pose as often as the full frog, so it's okay if it's a little confusing. So you should feel something in the inner thigh, the groin. You might feel it, some compression in this crease here. The chest can be totally down on the floor. Yeah, it's hard to demonstrate sometimes from the screen. It's easier in a obviously in-person class. And you can kind of look up and see, or I can come next to people and show them. So hopefully studios will be opening soon. I've seen some come out with saying that they have, they're getting ready to open. I'm not sure when Blue Lotus will open, where I'm teaching Tuesday nights. So in our half frog, so you feel into the hips a bit more. Surrender as much as you can. Just kind of melting into the earth. A little bit more time on this side. Let's take about 10 more breaths here. Good, another breath. And then you can start slowly bringing your leg back to normal, to straighter. Let it relax. You can wiggle hips a little bit. Notice the difference between the two sides, the legs, the hips. And then let's do the other side. So I'm just going to turn around. We'll take that frog leg on the left. So bringing that knee out and a little bit up towards the shoulder, just in that direction. Resting your chest. If you need extra pillows, always taking that. If these bones in the inner knee are kind of digging into the floor, that's a good place for a blanket or a little cushion. So for me, I'm just adjusting, going a little deeper by bringing my knee up higher, because I just noticed I could be just using a little bit more. It could be a subtle stretch though. You might just feel something really subtle in this groin or hip crease, or this can be really intense for you. So there's always a range that people can feel and a range of how people will look in the poses. Breathing, just remember that breath will allow the opening to happen, the surrendering. One more minute here. So a couple last breaths in this pose. And then when you're ready, just slowly release. Bring that left leg back, meeting the right, taking rest here. And then if you want to, you can windshield wiper your feet one more time or wiggle the hips side to side. And then we're going to slowly come onto our back. So you might just roll over, or if you want to come through a child's pose or any cat cows or anything, coming onto the back. One more time, bringing knees in. Well, it might not be the last time, but I'll just cue for this one. You can rock side to side if that feels good. Happy baby, anything you want. And then let's bring knees over to the right side, taking a twist here. So I like crossing my left leg over right and my knees fall right, but you can just bring them over. You can bring a bolster between the knees. One leg can be straight, one can be bent. There's a lot of options for the twist. So just about 3 minutes each side here. Prop if you need to. So my knee is just kind of hanging out. I'm going to put this bolster right there. And you should feel that twist in the low spine. If you want to, you can stretch your opposite arm out than the way you're twisting. So your left arm could stretch out. You can even gaze over the left hand or shoulder if you want that twisting of the entire spine to include the neck. Resting. So just noticing if you feel a little cooler now at the end of the practice, you're welcome to wrap up in a blanket. See what you can let go of. Take any strain out of the legs. And let both shoulders feel very heavy, release to the ground. Nice. A few more breaths here. Nice. 2 more breaths. Take your time, slowly coming back to center. If you want, you can stretch out long again. Reaching my arms overhead. And then let's take the other side. So letting your knees fall to the left, or if you're crossing, you can do right over left, knees go left. And if you want to take that full turn with including the neck, so your right arm can stretch out, straight out to the side, you can turn your head to the right. That doesn't feel okay, just looking straight up is fine. You might close the eyes here. So last side, just make this one count, being present through the whole pose. Just keeping the breath going. Enjoy this twist. It's resetting the spine. So good for our spines. Ten more breaths on this side. Let the shoulders be even heavier and more relaxed. Back of the head, let that touch the earth, be supported. So slowly rolling out of this back to the center, uncrossing. And then here you can take any last final movements or stretches that you need. And then we'll set up for final relaxation. So really take your time getting there. If you need to stretch them a little bit more, do that first. And then slowly find your way. So this could be Shavasana on your back, just lying with arms beside you. If it's better for you to lie in the front or side, that's okay. Just your most comfortable resting position. Propped up if you need to be, covered up if you need to be. So taking a few minutes here to totally let go, surrender one more time, and allow the practice to seep into your body, mind, and spirit. From your comfortable position, just starting to bring some more attention to your breath once again. And start reawakening the body, moving fingers and toes. If you need to take that full body stretch, you can reach the arms overhead, point the toes, stretch them forward. We'll then slowly let our knees bend and roll to the side for a breath here. And when you're ready, pressing up to your comfortable seat, we'll close our practice together, bringing the palms together at the heart center. May all beings be free of fear and harm. May we all be happy just the way we are. May we be at peace with whatever comes. And may we all live gently in the softness of our own hearts. Namaste.